Greetings, my brothers and sisters in Christ. I'm Reverend Anthony Kelly, once again from Baton Rouge, Louisiana, retired senior pastor, also chairman and CEO of the Reclamation and Restoration Ministries Incorporated. I serve also, of course, with my denomination as the founder and chairman of the Prison Ministry and Criminal Justice Commission of the National Baptist Convention, USA Incorporated. I've been sharing with you in the past about thinking about those special people in our lives who we really need to say thank you to. In my reflection today in Psalms 107, which is an extraordinary psalm about deliverance and about praising God for his delivering power, because in Old Testament theology, salvation essentially means deliverance. Deliverance from something to something is the understanding of salvation to the Old Testament mind. And then at Psalms 107, the writer talks about being delivered from various situations, delivered from the desert. And in our lifetime, we got some desert situations, some dry places, some dry relationships, some dried up money. But yet God delivers in situations when we're in those desert places, when we're in prison, when we're sick. And also it talks about being delivered from the sea, which is essentially an understanding of the very basis of how God meets us where we are and meets us in our situations of disappointment, disillusionment, disenfranchisement, even despair. And he's able to meet us where we are and then to lift us up. And that Psalms 107, especially around verse 28, when they were in the storm and the boat was rocking and the winds were blowing and that stormy sea was going up. It talks about it going up and down, the waves just beating the ship. And the book says, and those who were on the ship, it says, then when they were at their wits' end, when they didn't know what to do, and some of us, we know we've been on that street called I don't know what to do. And in that moment, the psalmist says, and then they cried to the Lord, and God, he delivered them from their distress and delivered them safely to shore. And so I was just thinking about how many opportunities we've had that we've overlooked in terms of telling people thank you. I was just reflecting way back, years back, talking about a foundational time playing Little League baseball for the city of Chicago on the south side of Chicago, Berkeley Avenue and the Berkeley Boys. And I thought about it, and I often think about back in the 60s, we had a coach, a manager, and she was female, and that was unheard of in those days. And her name was Alice Brown. And Alice taught us young boys about character, competence, cooperation, commitment, and even pride as young black boys. And I think about Alice Brown every now and then, and I say to myself, every time I go and I'm going to Chicago, I drive down Berkeley Avenue, hoping that someone in the Browns family would be at home, just so I can just find out where Alice Brown is in order to say thank you. What an opportunity. We need to say thank you to those special people when we have them and not when they're gone. And so in this time of reflection also towards Thanksgiving, towards the holidays, This is so pertinent in terms of thinking about those special people, even now who give so much, our clergy, our pastors, various servant leaders who provide pastoral leadership and care, who stood by your side, and whether it's in the hospital room, the nursing home, the hospice care center, jails and prisons, courts, living rooms, at weddings and funerals, in counseling and prayer situations, and community engagement on behalf of the people and fighting for justice and righteousness. All of those people who do that work, not looking for thank yous, but do that work because they're called to serve. And every now and then we need to stop and say, thank you. Thank you, brother pastor. Thank you, sister so-and-so. Thank you, uncle so-and-so. Thank you for your work and how you've impacted my life. And so again, I just want to share with you this resource that you can provide for those special people who need to understand that their work is meaningful, that their work is life-changing. And I want you to prepare to actually say thank you by making this book available. This book about storms and how to deal with storms of life, not just only in the ministry and the preaching enterprise, but in our daily walk. And I tell you, this book, Storms, Sound Doctrine in an Age of Lying Tongues and Itching Ears, is relevant right now to help you and those servant leaders to deal with the challenges that face the preaching of the gospel in such a time as this. And so I encourage you, go on my website at www.anthonykellyministries.com. That's www.anthonykellyministries.com. And Kelly is spelled Kelley. That's where we do it down in Georgia. And you will see how you can purchase this gift and make it a blessing to those special people, that special. I thank the people in Chicago who just purchased a number of books for their prayer group and for their engagement in their church ministry. You too can be blessed by reaching out again at www.anthonykellyministries.com and check out the books, but especially Storms, for that special person. God bless you, and may he keep you. And remember, we owe God a thank you.